now from Nashville, Tennessee, it's time for another episode of Tips, Tactics, and Tools for a Safer Tomorrow, where all things related to your safety and security are discussed, detailed, and delivered to you. You may leave with a tip that saves you money or a tactic that saves your life. So here are your hosts, owner and founder of Defense Systems, Brink Fiddler, and owner and operator of Herring Technology, Tom Herring.
Hey everybody, welcome to this edition of Tips, Tactics, and Tools for a Safer Tomorrow. I'm your host, Brink Fiddler, owner and founder of Defense Systems. With me as always, my co-host, founder of the podcast, Tom Herring, owner and operator of Herring Technology here in Nashville, Tennessee. During this pandemic, there has been a lot of talk about how to get businesses back open, how to stay safe and secure, all the above, and we're going to talk a little bit about all of it, but the primary focus today is how businesses are beginning to open back up, how nonprofits are beginning to open back up, schools, universities, you name it, and what is some technology that's available to help them do that. We typically, short of being at a pandemic, always broadcast from here at Herring Technology, and they have some pretty awesome technology that they've put together that we're utilizing for this pandemic. So with us today is Steve Sutton, who is the Director of Sales for the mobile division of Herring Technology. If you have a mobile security solution need, Steven's the guy to talk to, whether it be what we're going to talk about today or portable camera units, or you need to cover a parking lot, or you need to cover an outdoor venue for a temporary weekend, whatever it is. But Tom, if you would just kind of talk about what the product is that you guys have that's just really exploding and helping businesses get back open.
Okay, first of all, CDCs put out the recommendations of, what to do to get people back to work. Checking temperature has always been on that list. From the federal level to the state level to the city level, it's always been, the recommendation to do that.
Right.
The problem is, where you have mass people coming into a place of business at shift change, is how do you do that quickly? Because if you have to stop them, you have to, you begin compensation at that point of paying them. And this that we're going to look at today is a way that they do not have to stop. They can just walk straight in. It tells them if it is elevated temperature or it's normal, and they can just move right on, unless it's elevated, and then it's up to the company to come up with a policy how they're going to handle that, which we'll talk about later. Is the most important piece is the policy of how to handle it. What we came up with was basically we took a camera that's dual lens, meaning it has a thermal lens and it also has an optical lens, and it is watching with facial recognition. Facial detection, correct. I'm screwing it up already, but that's okay. But no, facial detection, not recognition.
Right.
There's no identification factors that are going into it. It's only saying this is a human face, and this area is where I want to check the temperature. And so we took that camera and put it with another, a system, a server and switch, the power source, everything, and made it a complete kit and started rolling that out. Steven came on board with us and has kind of taken over that, and it's kind of taken over our whole business during this COVID-19 adventure here that everybody's on. And we have seen great results with it from the employees coming in are, ecstatic about it, that number one, they can come back to work.
Right.
And it allows that.
Yeah, and it's also not, again, stopping every single person, right? So, and I'll let Steven kind of get into more about the specifics and how many people it can scan and all that. But I was just on the phone on the way here with a good friend, Fletch, right, who was talking about getting schools back open and what are they going to have to do? And it's a money issue. And would they rather have this? Well, heck yeah. Because, what they're going to have to do, and a lot of places are doing that don't want to do, that this solves that problem. Number one, you're answering 5 questions, right? Can you answer no to all these 5 questions? And then we let you in the door, and then we scan your head, and then we let you come in. Well, how much time does that take? I mean, and exposing your personnel that we've talked about, right? Putting right up PPE, all that kind of stuff. So this solution is pretty awesome. But Steven, if you would kind of chime in and tell us, what your the specifics are, the system, what the options are, what you're seeing as far as people. I need to move this boom arm where we can see each other. Sorry. What you're seeing industry wise, right? I mean, your all's customers are so varied, right? I mean, y'all serve corporate America, you serve manufacturing, you serve nonprofits. What is it you guys are seeing? Is it all over the board, or is it primarily one industry that's jumping on it right now, or what's that look like?
Sure. So far, what we're seeing right now is, like you said, kind of all over the board. There's not really one specific industry or sector that this is more geared towards, so to speak. It's really for anybody that's, again, trying to come back to work after this pandemic, and especially if you have a lot of people in your office or in your manufacturing plant, in your warehouse, whatever. Like Tom mentioned earlier, it makes people be able to come back, but kind of in a seamless fashion, if that makes sense, where you're not stopping and pointing a thermometer at somebody's head, slowing down traffic, everybody's gathering behind, and kind of defeating the purpose of social distancing. You're still getting that peace of mind of getting that temperature check, but it's just seamless. You're just walking past. It's kind of a bypass product, but you're still getting that peace of mind in it. So we've got a couple of different options. We have you can permanently mount it to the ceiling, to the wall, like any other camera that you would mount. You can also have a tripod kit where the camera mounts on top of a tripod and sitting next to it on a table. You would have your monitor and your computer and all the components that run the camera. And then we also have a mobile station where everything is installed and incorporated into one roll-around mobile unit. That if you have multiple entrances or entrances change during the day, you can unplug it. It's got a backup battery system in it that'll run for 30 to 45 minutes, give you enough time to get it moved over to wherever you're taking it, get it plugged back in, and it's still up and running. It never shuts down.
Let me jump in right there just so people understand. And so I understand. So if I fire this mobile unit up first thing in the morning, plug it in, get it rolling, and then I need to move it, you're saying when I unplug it, I don't have to restart the machine. Correct. As long as I get it to wherever it's going within 30 minutes and then plug it back in. Correct. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's got that backup battery in it for, if power goes out, it's not going to shut it down. And again, if you have to move it, you don't have to reboot, reset everything up. It's just ready to go as soon as you get it plugged back in and set up wherever you want it.
That's awesome. And they all come with everything, right? I mean, no matter which kit you order, the permanent or the portable or the mobile or whatever, I mean, they all come with everything. But the thing I love about all of it is, you guys should see their warehouse, man. It's like, because it's not just boxing and packaging station, it's all multi-testing stations, meaning these guys literally unpack every component, right? Like your packages are open when you get them, folks, because these guys is one of the reasons I fell in love with this company as a consultant is because they literally, as far as gear goes, they try and break it. And if they can't, then they'll sell it and use it. And, they are literally setting up every switch, monitor, cable, cord, camera, and testing every single one of them and then repackaging them before they go out the door to the customer, which I think is pretty amazing. But when I get it, Stephen, as a consumer, what do I do? I mean, is it I got to call you guys and y'all talk me through setting it up, or how does all that work?
So when you get it, specifically the tripod kit, when you get the tripod kit, it's going to come in just a brown cardboard box. Everything, as you mentioned, we're taking everything out of its original packaging and testing it. But while we're testing it, it's also being labeled with a kit number, with a part number, and then it's put back in. So when you receive your package, you're going to open up the package, and stuck to the side is going to be a little folder, and it's going to have a couple of pieces of paper in it. It's going to have your product list, where all of your corresponding they're actually letters as opposed to numbers, is listed on there. The second page is going to be an instruction list or an instruction page. So it's going to have breakdowns step by step, everything you need to do to be able to pull every single part that comes out of the box, plug everything up. The instruction list, again, anytime a part is mentioned, it's got its corresponding letter out to the side of it to curb any confusion. So it's going to have a list, and we also have the third page is going to have a link to our website, to herringtechnology.com. that's got videos that myself and Tom and the IT guys and everybody kind of starred in, if you will. Just instruction videos of how to put everything together. So we've tried to make it as easy and as seamless as possible to just plug and play, so to speak.
Well, answer this for me. Riddle me this. A little inside baseball. How are you so easy and seamless on a podcast, but if we stick a camera in your face, you freeze?
I don't know. I'm just trying not to look at the camera over there. So. It's just the camera. I don't know. I just freeze up on the camera.
It's looking at you.
Yeah,
exactly. Technology people.
Actually, we need to turn the camera point straight. If y'all want to see Steven freeze up, point the camera.
Again, I'll look over here. I'll freeze up in a minute.
Well, additionally, some things that have changed at Herring in light of this, they have their own bubble wrap machine now, which I must say is pretty stellar. Steven's in love with the bubble wrap machine. They can make their own bubble wrap.
Very exciting stuff.
And package it, but
with U.S. air.
Yeah.
That's the key. That's the important thing.
This is not
no Wuhan air coming in.
Local Nashville, Tennessee air. That's right.
Good, yeah, good, clean Nashville, non-communist, southern air. Good stuff. Yeah, all made in the USA packaging. Fantastic.
Right. Are we sure about the communist part or no?
Yeah. Yes. If it's air that is passed through Herring Technology, it is non-commie air. I promise you.
I'm at Nashville.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Shots fired.
Yep.
That's truth.
Yep. Yay. Yeah, I would. That's different. Different
That is something we
podcasting.
do need to talk about, though. Is the regulations on this thing.
Speaking
Yeah,
of which,
absolutely.
Yeah.
What a perfect segue. Good job, Tom. That's where you're the boss.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that.
Well, first of all, a couple of disclaimers on it. We understand there are asymptomatic people out there that temperature is not going to catch when they come in the door. And that is not what this is designed for. We are not saying this is. We do not even label it as fever detection. We go as far to say it's temperature monitoring,
Right.
instead, because you don't know. It's just a scanning device. It's getting surface temp versus core temp. And so what we say is this is just an initial screening, just like the questions that you ask. The 5 questions right now that are recommended when
Right.
people enter a place, you have to ask. It's just an initial screening, and it filters down from there, and people have to understand that. We've received comments, on social media that, temperature checking doesn't work. Okay, well, go tell every doctor from the time they invented the little glass thermometer that they put it in places you don't want when you're a kid going in, which is the one way to correctly check core temperature, but we're not in that business and not going to get in that business.
Thank God.
Yes. So,
Welcome aboard, Steven.
yeah, Steven, we forgot to tell you one last duty on the second screening. No, but we understand that. This is just to, hey, you're seeing something, because you are going to get false positives with it. I went to get my hair cut the first day it opened up. Of course,
Thank
I
God.
look like a sheep with it hanging down over my eyes, and I go running through the parking lot because I'm so excited to get a haircut for the first time.
I'd have paid money to see that,
And-
by the way.
I walk in and they stick the plastic pistol at my forehead, freeze, and I'm 101.8.
Right.
And the lady literally didn't know what to do. She started backing up. What we do? I'm like,
Did you
hold
start
on.
coughing?
No coughing. I said, I actually understand this a little bit. Give it just a second. It'll cool down. That's just surface temp. And so within 10 seconds, she checks it again. She goes, no. You're still we're 100.3 now. And I'm like, well, in 10 seconds, it just dropped a lot. So that is an example of, the false positives and some of the faults with this. So, you'd have to give people the time to acclimate when they come in, which generally it's within seconds. We're not talking about minutes. And that's only in extreme circumstances anyway, would it be high. So we understand that. The other thing that we always hear is this is an invasion of privacy. Okay. And at our company, that is one of the things that we're very careful of. We are gun-loving, gun-toting,
God-fearing.
God-fearing gun owners.
.com.
Exactly. There you go, Brink.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. Quick to shout out to our sponsor, God Drink.
Exactly.
Great plug.
And in the same sense, we have taken every precaution to make sure we're trying to do what we can to provide that safety factor level,
Sure.
but not invade privacy.
Well, what do you always say when it comes to security and privacy?
Well, it's a balanced scale.
Amen.
In order to have security, you have to give up some freedom. It's a balance, and if you increase one, the other goes down. There's no way to do both.
The naysayers that you're talking about. Sorry, I have to jump in.
That's fine.
It fires me up too. Is it not an invasion of their privacy for their employer to stick a thermometer to their head? I mean, what is the difference? There's no difference. If anything, it's less invasive.
Correct.
Than that, and it's measuring surface temperature. So if you stood in the sun and walked in, it could false positive. Blah blah blah.
Which the hand ones do the same thing.
Exactly.
By the way, let's make that clear.
But one other thing that came up, and this crawled all over me too, was you brought up the asymptomatic people. Well, what about the people that are asymptomatic, that aren't showing? And I said, if you knew there were going to be 100 murders on your campus, right, and you could stop 80, would you? Like, give me a break. Like,
Yeah.
I understand that this is not a perfect solution. You're damn right it's not, but it's a screening solution. It allows up to 30 people to pass the thing at a time. And it's just another tool in your tool belt. I mean, it is not the end all thing, but it is a fantastic tool. And people say, well, we're not going to need them after the pandemic. Well, let me tell you something. Flu season ain't going away. And guess what? Pandemics aren't going away. How many have we had just in our lifetime, right? H1N1, swine, avian, I mean, all this other stuff, right? So I think it's a great tool beyond just the pandemic. But anyway, I'm off my soapbox. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I think the fear that people have is the camera part. And so what we've done, we've gone through to make sure, number one, there's no identification factors in our system. It's not calling out your name. It's not, as I screwed it up to start with, in facial recognition versus detection. There is no facial recognition in it. So it's not saying when your picture pops up, here's this name that goes with it.
Right.
It is, nothing's recorded per se. So
Nothing identifying about the person.
correct.
I mean,
and the information that it has is stored, first in, first out basis.
Okay.
It's not stored. It's not a Johnny tested positive, or not tested positive, but had an elevated temperature. It's simply rolls over when the next comes in. It rolls out. So it's not storing that information. And
Right.
that's one of the things that we are very just adamant about with our product. There are products out there doing this that are your access control, which it does have identification factors. It has your temperature. It has everything. That's up to the place of business to decide if that's what they want or do not want. We do not make policy here.
Right.
We only simply get the technology. We prefer it not do that. And that's something that we probably will stay away from, is the access control combined with the temperature, just because it's putting a name with the temperature and storing that.
Right.
And to me, I have to say that's a little over the edge for me.
a little bit of a police state.
Correct.
Little big brother.
Yeah, but like you said, it's the same as them pointing the plastic pistol at you and walking in and saying go, or you are elevated. Now you need to go talk to a medical person,
Right.
within your company or whatever your policy says.
I think from the employee standpoint, people are just going to realize that this is kind of where we are. I think where that's going to be more important is when businesses start opening back up and scanning their customers, right? I think that's going to, because as a business, I can enact a policy and make you sign it in HR that says this is our new policy because we're in the world of COVID-19. And sorry, but customers, I think, because why would you not, as a store, why would you not use this to potentially scan, customers that may have an elevated temperature? I mean, and then, what you do, that's up to you as far as the store is concerned.
And I do think you have to tread a very fine line with that. That's why we do not like the recording aspect of it.
Right.
Is as a customer, when you walk in, you don't know who that is standing at the desk
Right.
checking it. Are they qualified for that? And all of a sudden, they have your picture with your temperature.
The Walmart greeter stopping
Correct.
you.
Come here. What can you do with that? Later that day, you have an elevated temperature because you ran across the parking lot and your hair's hanging down over your eyes.
Right.
And you have that. I don't know who that clerk is, and all of a sudden they can use my information and send it out and go, wait a minute, I saw that guy.
Right.
That big fat guy ran in that hair salon this morning, and I saw his temperature fell, and here's his picture with this temperature here. Now it's out on the street. I understand that. So we do have to tread lightly on that. And then
It's only information necessary for the NSA, right?
And apparently the cops, depending on what jurisdiction you're in, they're passing that around.
Yeah,
right.
I'm more concerned with the contact tracing aspect of things that are going on.
Yeah.
I do have issues with that. With inside a business, that's a different scenario. But once you leave that door and you're a non-employee,
Right.
You're taking a risk as a business of polarizing your clientele too.
Absolutely.
It all goes back to what is reasonable. That's what the courts have always said. What's a reasonable expectation of privacy? And at your place of work, walking in the lobby, is there a reasonable expectation of privacy? No. Not really. If you're walking into your place of work, but when you leave and you're going to get in your car and go and doing your own thing, you're darn right there's a reasonable expectation of privacy. It's called the Fourth Amendment, right?
Is there privacy really anymore, though?
Famous, right? Hence the reason Jim convinced me to finally actually be on Facebook. Believe it or not, hell froze over. But you're right to some degree. But if we start giving up little bits of rights, then
it's been happening,
right?
This has been one big exercise.
Absolutely.
The saying is, right? You give
boiling frog.
You give them an inch.
Yep.
They think they're a ruler.
That's right.
Right. So. We got to be real careful, folks. Again, this is not police state stuff, but I can tell you with certainty that their clientele are all over the board. I've had schools reach out to me, private schools here in Nashville, yesterday asking about this product. And they're getting calls from all over the country. It's a great solution. We'll try and throw up just a couple of quick video shots in the finished version of this so you guys can see kind of what the technology is. Is the video on your homepage?
It is.
Okay, so go to herringtechnology.com. There's a video on the homepage that really kind of lays out what these are. There's more video coming soon that describes kind of a little more detail if we didn't cover it all today. I think we covered quite a bit of it. But
hey, Brink, there's one other thing on privacy.
Oh, God.
Well, I battled with this my entire life because I'm vertically challenged, horizontally enhanced and vertically challenged. But when we talk about the privacy and taking the temperature, there's people that argue with it, and it's like the first thing you have to do is understand why is it being done.
Right.
Is it an invasion of privacy? That's not why it's being done. It's being done for safety.
Right.
And you have to understand that. It's no different. I couldn't afford to go to Disney World as a kid, so we went to the Mississippi Alabama Fair and Dairy Show.
Amen, brother.
Tupelo, Mississippi. But every ride you went to had a little sign over to the side that said you must be this tall in order to ride this ride.
Correct.
Why?
Safety.
It's no different. You had to be a height so you wouldn't slide under the rail that's holding you in the scrambler that was put together by who knows who in 12 hours.
Jimmy the crackhead.
Exactly, the night before.
Carney folk.
Exactly.
Small hands.
This is no different. Nothing was more embarrassed as a short person when everybody your age could get on the scrambler and go.
Sure.
Except for and you had to turn and take that shameless walk back through the
shame,
line that you had waited 30 minutes in because you couldn't ride it.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I could see where you're coming from, but I also see that as a kind of a CYA aspect too.
Absolutely.
We're going through that with our HOA. They don't want to open the pool, and I'm a board member of the HOA. So the whole notion, and all the neighbors are starting to pile on, open the pool. I said, guys, I'm all for it. Okay. But the governor has decreed that pools should not be open that are public use. Our management company is advised against it, and our insurance company won't cover us. I said, because you know what? The insurance company provides protection if we as board members get sued. I said, I'm all for just, relieving us of any sort of, indemnifying us of any sort of responsibility. You take on your own risk once you cross that gate. I'm all for it. You take your own risk. But I'm not getting sued. So there's that.
Right. Absolutely. You have to have that liability part for the employer, for the other patrons that are within your business if you're down to the customers. Yep. We also are we the people.
Right.
And that doesn't mean the government has to tell us absolutely everything. If a store is checking temperature and you feel that that's an invasion of your privacy,
don't go.
It's your right not to go in.
Amen.
Turn around and walk off.
Right.
Middle finger up, go to the one next door that's not.
Right.
That's your choice.
Same with masks. Some places are requiring you to wear masks and people don't want to do that and they turn around and walk off, and that's your right too.
Absolutely.
Don't patronize that business.
It's whatever you choose.
Well, we live in crazy ass times. I mean, that's right. I mean, who in the world saw a friggin' I mean, like, seriously, 3 months ago, Tom, we're sitting here doing this. I mean, temperature monitoring stations you think would be coming out of your ears in 2 months, right? Like, you guys we're here. I'm around like 11 o'clock at night nowadays. I mean, boxes everywhere. I mean, damn. I mean, you bought your own bubble wrap machine, bro. I mean,
hey, you've made it in life when you have a bubble wrap making machine.
Well, I didn't think Steven would stand anywhere else in the warehouse that day. Like, I mean, it is oddly satisfying, I will say.
I actually said to my wife last night, we were laughing when I walked in, and she said, "What is so funny?" And I said, "I just saw a post on Facebook that last night was my 35th anniversary or 35th year from my high school graduation last night. And I can still remember sitting in that chair at Robbinsville waiting to graduate and sitting there thinking, would the thought ever have gone through my mind that in 35 years I'm going to be worried about checking someone's temperature and how to box up these units and ship them all over the country? That's what I would be doing for a living.
Right.
Or taking your shoes to get on a plane, taking off your shoes.
Take off your belt, your shoe, strip down,
Yeah.
That's where we are today.
It is. It is what it is. But I said, I don't remember which podcast it was on, because we were doing this via Zoom. But two things that have happened as a result of this that are absolutely positive. Number one, people are spending more quality time with their families. And number two, there's more people talking to God right now than there ever have in the probably history of mankind, right? Because of what's going on. So at the end of the day, nobody saw it coming and nobody knows where we're going. People are trying to plan for August and September. I'm like, you lost your daggone mind. Wow. You don't know what's going to happen next. But this is an outstanding tool. I mean, obviously, I think it's bad to the bone, and so does everybody that sees it across to Tennessee and across the nation now via Newsy and some other ones. And I think it's great. And I think that this information needs to be out there. This is just another medium to get that information out there. But y'all really done something special. And you guys have taken it to the next level using a server and programming it and putting privacy at top of mind and testing everything before it goes out the door. And, one thing that you guys, about the only thing Tom will brag on about his company is customer service and support. You guys run into a problem with this stuff. Let me tell you, Herring people are absolutely going to step up and handle it. But it is a great tool. Understand it is a tool. It is a screening tool, but it is phenomenal. Please go check out the video. It'll tell you a lot more. Again, we'll throw up some links and all that fun stuff for you too. But by all means, go check us out and check us out on our next episode as well. On that note, that wraps up this edition of Tips, Tactics, and Tools for a Safer Tomorrow. You can always reach out to us at tipstacticstools.com, or we're also on Facebook and Twitter.
I'm out.